All right, quick question. What do you buy if you want a car that won't break the bank, but also won't put a dent in your pocket at the gas station? Well, for an oldie like me, and for a lot of people with normal budgets, that answer is usually like a Honda Civic or a Honda Civic like an SI or something like that. There are other options out there, but that was actually my first car, a Honda Civic Standard. It was awesome. But as you get older, or when you are like me and get a little bit, ambitious, my ultimate goal was, have one car that's like an A to B car, right? That's good on gas. And then you get another car that's fun for the weekends, right? That's the ultimate goal for any car nerd, right? And now the goal is to do this without, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, which you and I probably don't have. And if you do, you're lucky. Go ahead and get yourself one of the fancy ones. So I wanted to stay somewhat within budget. I am going to stretch my budget a little bit, but you know what? That's what I've been able to accomplish. And of course, today I'm going to be talking about my A to B car right there. That is the Prius Prime 2024 XSE Premium. So we're going to be taking it for a ride, and yes, that is actually my car. I bought it. I literally picked it off the lot. I actually did a trade-in. I used to have another car, which I'll talk about. It was a Corolla hybrid. Great car, by the way. But again, that was the only thing I could do with that is an A to B car, right? So now this is going to be my main A to B, and then I have another pocket rocket coming. Stay tuned for that one to round off this whole, two-car situation. Now, one thing to note is I didn't actually test drive this car. I just saw it. I loved the way it looked when it was revealed. Went to my local Toyota dealership. Shout out to Meadowvale Toyota. They're awesome. And I crossed my fingers and I was like, well, I hope it's good. The numbers look great. And so I've had it for about 24 hours now. I've put about 70, 80 kilometers. By the time this video's out, I'll have put some more. So I'm actually going to start off with 5 things that I like and 5 things that I think are not so great, and things I'm going to have to live with because, again, it's my car. So let's get rolling. Okay, starting off with number 1, obviously has to be the looks. I mean, come on, guys. Just look at this thing. Absolutely gorgeous, especially in this red. This car actually looks good in all colors, in my opinion. But in red, I mean, let's go. Who would have thought, right? I never in a million years thought that I would be excited to own a Prius, but there we go. First thing, it looks amazing, and even better in person, by the way. I really love the rims on this car. I think the attention to detail is fantastic. I think it fits really well, and it chose the right size. Sometimes cars, as you guys can see, especially newer ones, like they'll have, oh, a plane, go away plane. Right, so back to what I was saying. Sometimes what happens is you'll see cars with wheels that don't actually match the arches. So sometimes they'll be too big or too small. But I think when it comes to the wheel proportions, Toyota did a fantastic job, and I think it looks good. Okay, the second thing I like about it, if you don't know about the Prius Prime, is that it is a hybrid electric vehicle. So it does have gas. You can put gas in it right over here on this side. However, on the other side, you can actually charge it. So there we go. It goes about, I can't remember. I'll put up the exact figures. I think it goes like anywhere from 50 to 70 kilometers on the charge, depending on the weather and how you drive and whatnot. But I love the fact that you can just plug it in and go, not have to worry about it. I used to own a Corolla hybrid before this one. That's what I traded that in for. And that one was just like a regular hybrid. So you couldn't plug it in. Didn't go very far in battery, if at all. But this one, for local commutes, most people drive anywhere from 20 kilometers or less to their work. This will do just fine. Okay, the third thing I like about this car is the fact that Toyota decided to use actual buttons. That's right. In fact, if this car ever came with touchscreen only, I would have returned it or been like, take it back or not even order it in the first place. I love the fact that Toyota decided, hey, to use buttons because they know how important it is. So when you're driving, once you figure these out, you don't even have to look. They're so intuitive and useful. I don't know what else to say. I didn't think that would be a feature we'd talk about in 2025, but it is. I travel a lot, so I've rented a lot of cars and been in rented cars where some of them just have everything touchscreen. Tesla Model 3 is the only exception that does it really, really well. But even on that, I've kind of find it annoying. Call me old school, call me a boomer, but I love buttons, and it deserves a special mention that a lot of the important stuff is on buttons. Number 4, I just love the interior overall. I especially love the wheel. It is not too big, not too small, and everything you need is within thumb's reach. So you can see how Toyota has laid this out. When you're grabbing the wheel, everything is reachable with your thumbs on both sides. The volume rocker especially should get a special mention because it's awesome. The only thing I would have loved is if you could actually like press down on it for instant mute. Sometimes I've needed that, but it's not a big deal. You can just go to the touchscreen and just, press mute. Overall, very good interior. I love this little screen. It literally has all the information you could possibly want. And the best part about it is when you're driving, it's not too high and it's not too low, depending on how you adjust your seats. So for me, it kind of looks about here. And when you're driving, what's good about it is you can look straight ahead, and especially when you're hitting the windy roads, you may see some B-roll footage. If you've ever shot a gun before or you're into guns, and if you use iron sights, it's kind of like iron sights. You just have to look out at the road and you'll know exactly where you're placing the car, and it makes driving so much more fun.
And the final thing I like about the new Prius is the way it drives. I can confirm that this car drives as good as it looks. Now, handling is quite the broad term, so let me break it down. First, let's talk acceleration. With 220 horsepower on tap, it has no trouble shooting off the line or passing those who are, taking their sweet time. Now, it's not going to win any drag races, unless it's against, another older Prius, but you can't exactly call it a slouch either, which is awesome. Next, we have the handling. Now, coming from someone who owned an FRS, also known in its new form as the GR86, my standards are quite high. I mean, anyone who's driven that or the MX-5 or any Porsche knows how well those cars can go around a bend. And this Prius is actually quite fun. If you put on some actual rubber, instead of the eco tires it comes with, you can have some serious fun around your local bendy roads with this thing. And the best part about driving this car, the way Toyota has tuned their suspension and dampening. It's literally the perfect balance between sporty and comfort. While my FRS was amazing and I loved driving it, it was also stiff as a board. Like, nobody wanted to sit in that, which means not many people enjoyed their time as passengers. But with this Prius, you can comfortably take, yourself, 3 friends on a road trip, no problem at all.
All right, now when it comes to things that are kind of annoying / I don't like, it's kind of hard, but this is number 1. Look at this view, right? With it being like a hatchback style car, the visibility is not great. However, the good news is Toyota being Toyota has thought of it. So check this out. You just flip this and boom, you have a screen in your mirror using the wide angle lens. So technically they solved it, but also, it is kind of annoying when you want a real view, but there's nothing really to see. So that means you have to keep the screen on pretty much the whole time. And this makes me cry thinking that one day when it does break, the cost of fixing it. But, it is what it is. It's a small niggle, but it does belong on the top 5 things I'm not really happy with. All right, now the second thing that is kind of a downside is actually the electric range, right? Now, this is not like a Tesla Model 3, so of course we can't expect it to go forever. But, it would have been nice if this car could at least go 100 kilometers on a charge. I think that plus with the engine, I think would have been like the perfect sweet spot. Again, right now, the way it is, gets phenomenal range. I'll put up all the nerdy numbers in case you're interested. But yeah, it would have been nice to have a little bit more. I think battery technology has gotten far enough. But again, maybe who knows in the future, maybe I can do a battery replacement and get it up to that range where I would love to have 100 kilometers back and forth. But it is what it is. Okay, the third thing I don't like, and it's actually just an annoyance, is actually some of the safety features. Now you might be wondering, like, what the heck? How can you hate safety? It's not that I hate safety, is that they've put too much. But now the good news is you can turn it off. So thank God for that. But, by default, it comes with this one in case you are planning on getting it. Turn this one off, unless you have kids and your kids are driving this car. But it's called driver monitor settings. And what it does is uses the camera that are in here, as you can see, some of the IR sensors and camera. And even if for a second, let's say I'm driving along, and okay, I need to look at the rear view mirror. So my eyes dart to the rear view mirror or quickly dart to some of the mirrors. I feel like even if it's for a couple seconds, immediately I get bing bong warnings like, hey, pay attention to the road, so on and so forth. And it's like, bro, just let me drive. Again, I understand why they put it. I understand that it's like a safety thing, but it would have been nice to at least calibrate it, right? So maybe like it bothers me if I'm looking at my phone or something for more like 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Yeah, cool, right? That would actually be useful because most people, when they're texting, when they're driving, they're doing stupid stuff like texting, and then they get carried away with their phones and then they rear end someone. So I get the safety feature, but it's extremely annoying the way it has been set up by default. Okay, another annoyance is that if you happen to be a passenger in the back, you have access to your power and seat heater. That's good. But what's bad is that there's no actual like any kind of venting or AC or heat, any kind of like, HVAC that's coming back here. So the reason that's bad is because this car is probably going to be used as an Uber car for a lot of people to earn some side income. And I might actually, indulge in that just for fun, just to be an Uber driver, because technically the Prius is a very Uber-like car. But if that is going to happen, it'd be nice to have some air coming back here for people who are too hot or too cold. So, thumbs down for that. And the final thing I'm not a fan of is obviously the Toyota software. It's never been Toyota's strong point, but I'll also say it's not terrible. It's functional. But what I hate about it is how it forces auto connect to your phone all the time. Now, most people are going to use CarPlay and Android Auto, which works, and that's fine. But there are times where I just want to go for a peace and quiet drive, and I want minimal distractions. So as you can see here, there's a volume button that has like a power thing to, supposedly turn this stuff off. So you hold it down, right? And of course, it's going to power off. Okay, great, powered off. You're like, good, no distractions, cool, right? You put on your seatbelt. You put it into drive, and before you even do that, look at this. Look at this. It is coming back on, right? And it'll just start back up for no good reason. Like, why? I told you to turn it off. I don't want you. Go away. But yeah, no. No matter what I tried, I don't know if I'm missing anything, but you just can't turn this crap off, and I hate that. I hate when I can't turn off something that I don't need, and I don't have this. Oh, especially at nighttime. Like, of course, you can dim the screen, but you don't want that extra bit of brightness and light or whatever. Like, there are times where, I don't know, maybe I'm weird. I just love going for a drive, no music, no distractions, no nothing. Just I want me and the car and just going somewhere or picking something up, and I don't want all this stuff. But yeah, like why put a power button if you're not actually gonna power off? So kind of annoying. Maybe it's just me, but it is what it is. Okay, and we're going to do a quick walkthrough of the interior cabin because, obviously that's where you're going to spend most of your time. I'm going to go from left to right. I know I did a top 5 thing, but now we're going to go through everything in case you're wondering on getting this car and you're wondering what the heck everything is. Now, the cool thing is I have not read the manual for this, so I'm just going to go off based on my experience so you can see like how much of the stuff you can figure out on your own and how much stuff you need the actual manual for. So let's go from left to right. Here we have the memory buttons for the seats and seat layout. I haven't figured out exactly how to program this. I don't have to hold it down, but generally when I get in the car, it just puts me in the position that, I had it set the day one I got it. So when I got in, the very first time, I set everything up the way I wanted to, and now it does that. However, I know if somebody else wants to drive it, I'm going to have to program them to number 2, because if they adjust things now, it's going to assume that I adjusted it, and then it's going to, go back to that position. So again, just got to figure that out exactly. Windows are pretty normal. I do like how Toyota doesn't have, or actually has both. So when you slightly push down on it, the window goes up manually, which I actually like. I want to control exactly how far up and how far down it goes. I actually hate the auto function. I almost never use it, but I understand people like it. So you have to press down extra hard, and now you have the auto function. Plenty of cars I've been in where you literally tap the thing and then just goes auto down or auto up and all the way up. That's kind of sketchy in my opinion. I hate that, but I do like how Toyota implemented the two-way switch. Kind of like those cameras where you half press and it focuses, and then you press fully, takes the picture. Love it. Okay. All right, next up we have the auto high beam. Again, you hit it and then it, auto high beams for you. Pretty self-explanatory. I believe this is the windshield defroster, or defrost the windshield wipers or something. And this is the steering wheel heater. I've actually used it once on the day I picked it up. It was kind of chilly, so that was good. Over here we have the fuel cap. Let me just get down here. Fuel cap, the lift gate, or the the trunk release. Now the AC 120, I assume that's there because we have this over here, and I think if you want to plug anything in that's like outlet based or something that needs a little bit more juice, I assume you hit that. Again, I'll have to read up on that. I'm just guessing. This is the hood release over here. All right, plenty of space for stuff. Pretty good. And then we have the wheel. Again, this is for the menu. This is for phone, menu buttons, volume rocker, as I already went over, speech for phone. Let's see over here. Now we have the cruise control stuff. I'm familiar with Toyota's cruise control and their icon, so I got used to this pretty quickly. You may or may not. But yeah, just play around with it. You do want to read the manual on this if you haven't used it before. You don't want to just get on the highway and just start messing with this if you don't know what you're doing. It could get confusing. This is the changing of the tracks and modes of the radio. So you can go from like Bluetooth, radio, XM, whatever you have on. Now, this car does have auto park. I don't know if this is exactly that button. I think it is, where it'll, park in a spot for you. I don't deal with that or use it. I don't think I'm ever going to. I may just for like fun purposes. I'm sure it's useful, but I can't comment on the accuracy. This button, I wish was a little bit better. Now, the cool thing about this button is I don't know exactly when it's supposed to work. I feel like it works half the time and it doesn't. So as I'm driving this thing, when you hit it, this is one of the views, but it has a better view where on the left side, it'll give you a top down of your car with the 360 surroundings. So you can avoid curbs. And there's a camera on the left. It's amazing. I wish I could have that up at all times, but for some stupid reason, when I'm driving and I hit it, I think it's beyond a certain speed or something. It just goes off to like your sound system and your music and whatever. I'm like, no, like that's what I wanted when I hit the button. Again, stupid software stuff that Toyota should fix. Give us the ability to have. I don't know if that's a safety thing. If anything, I think it's more safe because I believe in situational awareness. So having that, plus the screen camera, which I already went over, plus, your mirrors, I think will give you the best advantage to avoid, basically hitting things. So I don't know what's going on with that button. I'm gonna have to read up on how to permanently keep it up. I don't think you can, all right? Power button for the car. Obviously we got our hazard lights over here. We have our seat heater, seat cooler, auto, if you just wanna set everything to auto, front defrost, rear defrost, fan off, temperature, the fan speed up and down. This is the direction of where you want the airflow, cabin air, either we want it like ventilated or circulating, and then AC on or off, and then this is for the passenger. Then over here we have the phone power. This is USB. I feel like this is for like data. I think that's a data thing where if you want to do Android Auto, it does have wireless Android Auto as well, so that works. The cool thing about this part is I like this little container down here, they even call it a hidden compartment. They gave it I already can't see it on the camera, but it gave it a hashtag hidden compartment. I mean, okay, cool, I'll take it. It looks cool. Plenty of storage spots for your phones or whatever else. The cool thing is if you have a phone, they actually have a separate slot. I love this. Finally a car with an actual slot for most phones. It does even have wireless charging. So if you hit this button here, it'll wirelessly charge. I'm using an old phone right now, so it doesn't have the wireless charging, but I'm sure it works just fine. We have our drive mode select. Funny enough, I always keep this car in sport. And the funny part about it is not only does it have good pickup, but I'm averaging like 3.7 liters per 100 kilometers, which is insane. And again, I'm actually driving the heck out of this. I'm not going super light nor super heavy. I'm not driving this like a Ferrari, but I'm also not driving this like a grandma. Like it's a nice balance. I'll throw it around curves, I'll accelerate, pass cars. It's been a ton of fun, and I don't have to pay for it at the pumps, which is super cool. Obviously, your parking. Now, these buttons, here's what I've been able to figure out. This, as it says auto, so when it's an auto, obviously it does its own thing, but when you hit that button again, that's the one I believe when you hit it, it goes into pure EV mode, as you can see, all right? So that's self-explanatory. This one, what I'll be able to figure out is when you hit it, it says hold charge. It constantly runs the engine, or 80% of the time runs the engine, to ensure that whatever charge you have, it'll keep. So right now I've been using this car a lot. So as you can see, it's at 6%. So I think it'll just hold it at 6% or charge it more. I don't know, either one of those things. But again, if you're using this car, I highly recommend just, charging it up like an EV and then hitting the auto. You're good to go. This is parking. This is the brake hold. One of my favorite features in modern cars. Okay, when you're at a stoplight or stop sign or something where you have to wait a while, once the car comes to a complete stop, it'll hold it for you. You just, keep your foot off the brake. You don't have to do anything. Awesome. Love that feature. And then there's obviously the traction control. Funny enough, you actually don't want to touch this one on this car, especially if you're in sport mode, because of the eco tires. Even when you floor it a little bit, there are plenty of times where it'll kind of lose traction and the traction control will kick in and jitter a little bit. So I assume the tires are not ideal for sport mode. You could throw on some sticky tires and have some fun with this car. I'm pretty sure of it. In fact, I might do that in the summer or future at some point. Now that I've spent all my money on this, but when I have some more money coming in, throw on some amazing tires and off we go. Here's a cool little detail. See this slot here? So when you have something plugged in, like a wire, you can actually route the wire here and either into your phone or whatever. I'm going to have a phone holder that's like going to be up here so I can have navigation and stuff. Now you might be wondering well, you have Android Auto. Why do that? Android Auto is okay, but I need the full feature of my phone, and it's like a stupid mode for your phone, right? Like it only lets you do a couple features and things. It's great if all you want to do is navigation, but sometimes I want to take a look at a couple updates or split screen my phone into a couple other things. Of course, I'm not going to drive distracted, but I do like having my phone right here, which is where I had it on my previous car. So there's going to be a suction cup that goes here, and then my phone is here, and obviously a charge cable is needed. So it's pretty cool that I'm going to have a little slot so I can route the cable. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but I'll figure it out. That's good attention to detail. Plenty of space here for all your knickknacks and snacks and money and whatever the heck you want to keep here. And then we have our glove compartment. Again, decently sized, fit all your things. Obviously comes with a manual and paperwork. That's where you keep it. Back seat's good. I've actually sat in it. It's great. We got the dual sunroof. Here's one thing. I don't think this is an actual moving. I think it's just a glass top, because if it was, I'm sure I would have seen some kind of I don't know, switcher or whatever to open it, but I haven't been able to find it. These are your lights, touch based. Again, not a fan, but it does work really well. I guess it's good. I would have preferred just regular buttons, but whatever. This is not such a big deal. They put buttons for, as you remember from my top 5, the most important thing. So whatever, all good. SOS button in case you get into a crash or whatever. You just hit that, and then I'm sure help will come your way. And yeah, that's about it. Got the mirror put up with the lights. It does have an extension, which I like here, right over here. As you know, for some reason, half the time when you move this around to block the sun, you don't actually block the sun. So in order for that, you have this little extension to do stuff with. All good. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's the interior. Oh, I do have to say, the A-pillar. Yeah, kind of in the way. I do like the JBL sound system this comes with, but I know they put that little gap here, but when you're doing a left turn, as you can, I don't know, you can probably see, I still have to do one of these just to make sure there's nothing on that side. Hence why I like to use this button and have the top down view, because you can actually see. Now it does obviously, like any modern car, have the blind spot monitoring just in case. But again, I would love to just have the, if I haven't complained about that enough, just to have the view that I like. But overall, really good cabin. I love it. Very comfortable. Seats are awesome. Tons of support. You got, I'm going to use this chair as an example for my seat. But yeah, you have lumbar support. It does pretty much everything, like forward, back, obviously. Recline, decline, raise height, lower height. Pretty much any way you want to adjust the seat, it's possible in this car. So yeah, overall, thumbs up for the interior. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on this car? Well, I now understand why there's a wait list. I live in Canada. There was a 2-year wait list. I put in the interest order for this back in 2023, and so I get it now. The reason for that is it kind of reminds me of a Porsche in that it kind of just does everything really, really well. If you've ever driven a Porsche or experienced a Porsche, you know that as a sports car, Porsches are just the, they're the best in terms of everything, right? Yes, they may not be as fast as a Ferrari 812, but they're plenty quick. They may not be as stylish as a McLaren, but they're still really good to look at. They may not be, as inexpensive as a GR86, but they're also not priced like an Aston Martin, right? It just does everything really, really well, handles really well. So in that same sense, I feel like they nailed it with that in this car. Like, is it the most sportiest handling car? No, but it's plenty sporty enough for most people. Is it the most economical? Well, no, that would be an electric car, but you know, it still gets really good range and really good mileage. Even if you're like a hoonigan like me and driving it around like a, you know, normal sports car. Again, not doing anything crazy and illegal, but like just having some spirited fun. And again, it's hard to, in fact, it's hard for me to even get it to a point where the mileage takes a huge hit where I'm like, oh, it's very inefficient. It's just great. It looks great. It is a little bit pricey. I get it, but again, you're paying for that. The best way I can describe this car is if you take a Honda Civic Sport, especially the newer ones, so 2023 is the one I have experience with. So you take that and then you take a Tesla Model 3, and if those two cars had a baby, you'd get the Prius Prime. So those are my final thoughts. I think it's a fantastic A to B car. Some of you might be saying, bro, but you bought it. You paid your own money, so of course there's a honeymoon period and you're biased. I understand that, but again, I'm as objective as I can with these things. If there's anything else, in fact, I might do a 6-month follow-up review of ownership to see what it's like. Did I come across anything else that really bothered me? If not, and then I'll do a 1 year after that to see if this honeymoon phase has stuck around. But you know, I've driven it again. I see almost 200 kilometers now. Currently there's 194. I picked this car up when I think I had 25 kilometers on it, so plenty of good driving. Of course, there's tons to do. I want to take it on some kind of a road trip or something like that, but overall extremely happy with it as an A to B car. Currently, you know, in 2025, I don't know, it's kind of hard to beat, and I've driven a lot of them. So if you're thinking of getting it, I say go for it. It is a very good option, or at least if you're looking for an efficient A to B car, it should be at the top 3 of your list. If you're going to go electric only, of course, there's other things that electric will do that this can, or if you're going gas only. But yeah, as an everyday driver, just to get you around and have some fun and do everything really well, thumbs up from me, man. All right, thank you guys for watching.